All right, here we go, guys. We are super excited. UFC 254 around the corner. Lauren Murphy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Love talking to you. Before we get into UFC 254 and number one contendership, so much on the line. What did you think of? I would assume you watched Angie Hill and Watterson go to war a couple nights ago. What did you think of that fight?
I actually haven't seen it. I heard it was really good, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was actually cornering a teammate of mine at a jiu-jitsu show, but I heard it was a great fight. So I heard it was super close. Yeah, it
was really, really good fight. And I hate it sometimes. Like people use robbery and MMA all the time, and it's like it was razor sharp. I thought Angie Hill won very, very sharp, but I'm not going to be upset if they thought Michelle did and they did. So, but it was a great, really good.
You can't leave it to the judges. At the end of the day, that's really all it comes down to. And that's it just sucks to hear that, because as a fighter, it's such a flippant thing to say. It's very dismissive. Like, oh, just don't leave it to the judges against the best fighters in the world. Is it just that easy? But, the deal is, if it goes to the judges, you can never really be sure who they're going to pick, and it sucks, but you just really can never be sure who they're going to pick. But
right. Because everyone is different. Some people like superhero movies, and some people like romantic comedies, and some people fights. Angie was a little bit more. Her hands were better. Angie's Hill was definitely jabbing more, better overhand right. Michelle was doing more leg kicks, head kicks, and a little bit more of the grappling game. So you never know what judges like more. If it's a grapple, whatever. So.
Yeah, and think about it, when we sit around and watch fights with our friends, we sit around, we watch fights with our friends, and a fight will be happening, it'll be close, and we're all sitting around on the couch arguing about who's winning and why we think that, and somebody will be like, no, so-and-so scored way more damage, well, so-and-so has been on top longer, and even among friends, even between Joe and I, sometimes we disagree about who's winning a fight, and so you have to imagine the judges are going through the same thing,
Yeah, so, no, for sure.
It's a pretty subjective sport.
It really is. It is. And like I said, people love chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream. There's no wrong answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a damage person. I like to see the most damage. Control is super important and vital. I agree. And grappling and all that. But I like to see my preference is a little bit more damage, or whoever kind of inflicts more than their opponent. That's what I usually would give the edge to.
Yeah. I agree. I like that.
That's me. I love it. We're traveling around the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna be with you while I start making my lunch. So
okay, sounds cool. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Did you see or hear that they used the word robbery on the Ed Herman and Mikey Rod's fight? Did you see that?
I did go back and watch that fight just because I had heard so much controversy about it. And
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but I don't think Ed Herman was selling that nut shot. I think he got kneed, or the nut shot. I think he got kneed. I think it dropped him.
Right.
After he was dropped, I mean, that's how people act when they get dropped from a body shot, and he was probably just trying to recover from the body shot.
Right.
He wasn't even super clear on what was going on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In a fight, you're not always aware of every detail that's happened. So I don't think Ed Herman was faking it or trying to sell something to get back in the game. I think he was just in the middle of a fist fight, kind of acting how you got dropped.
Someone who's been around the game for so long in the UFC octagon and before it, what do you think of, it's 2020 now. What do you think of the UFC having an MMA replay, having a, hey, they can really go back. They could have seen, to me, it was that solar plex. It was a air out of a body kind of experience. Maybe they could have gave it to Mikey Rods right then and there. Are you a fan of that, or are you not a fan of MMA replay?
I don't know why they don't use it. There must be some kind of argument against using instant replay, especially in a sequence like that where it's I don't know. I don't understand why they would only use instant replay for fight-ending sequences. But maybe somebody could explain it to me. I don't know. Maybe there's something I just am not aware of.
Lord, I use the same line all the time. I remember as a kid, I was 10 years old, and I was in an airplane, and the person next to me lit up a cigarette and started smoking a cigarette on the airplane. It's you can't, that's people used to smoke back in the day on airplanes. That's what happened. So until the law changes or until it changes, you'll be why didn't we think of this earlier?
Yeah. No, I remember being a kid and playing with the ashtrays at McDonald's.
There you go. All right. Well, let's get into it. UFC 254, you versus Cynthia, major matchup. So funny. On the last podcast, I talked to you right after your win in Vegas, and you came on and you're like, this is the fight I want. To me, it's a number one contendership. Everything is leading to this flyweight title, all that. It's here. What do you think of it? How happy, how excited are you? Weeks, 5-6 weeks away.
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks away. Good. I feel really good. I'm excited for the matchup. It's like the only matchups that really make sense at this point would be either like, maybe me and Caitlin Chukagian again. But we fought at 135, and it's just not a fight that I'm super interested in running back. I mean, maybe
Right.
defending champion, obviously that would be an option. But yeah, I think that the fight between Cynthia and I just makes way more sense. It's a fight that builds contenders and it builds storylines and stuff. So I'm super happy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to go out there and test my grappling against somebody as high level a grappler as her. I think historically that's kind of where I've had problems is
Sure.
grapplers, and so it's going to be really my chance to show, the fans and show the UFC that I've grown enough that I can handle her level of grappling and come out with the win, and hopefully even get a finish. That would really
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First woman to finish Cynthia Calvillo, that would really make a statement.
So funny you said that. That was literally the next line, the next transition to my next question for you is, it's so there's two ways to look at it, two sides of the story. So Cynthia, like you said, really great grappler. She's going to try to get a submission. That's what she's going to do. Like we all know that's what's the game plan, right? Yeah. Is it I'm going to do a little bit more defense, I'm going to worry more about Cynthia? Or is it, to me, I'm a little bit of the aggressor, I'm the opposite? Me, I want to worry about me. Like with you and your stand-up, I would assume you have a good advantage standing up, throwing hands. Are you going to try to I want to throw, and then whatever happens, if I get into a weird spot with her, then I have to get out of it, and I'll show my grappling ability. But sometimes I feel like some fighters play too much defense going into a fight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I'm not really afraid of anybody on the ground.
Right.
I'm a really good grappler, and I've been in there with the best grapplers. I've been in there with, Olympians. I've been in there with, people like Sajara Eubanks that have been long time black belt competitors on the world circuit. I've trained with Karen and Tunes. I've trained with Mackenzie Dern quite a bit.
Okay.
I have a great grappling team out here in Texas too. I love to grapple. I'm married to a black belt.
Right.
We are competitive grapplers, and we were
right.
competitive grapplers before we even started doing MMA. So I'm not afraid of anybody on the ground, to be honest with you. Bare minimum, I know I can stay safe on the absolutely bare minimum. So I think her best case scenario is not really her best case scenario is to get me on the ground, and I'm just not I don't want to say I'm not worried, but it's like I'm a good grappler. I'm excited to go there too. Like, come get it.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. Talking about grappling, we're huge fans of Submission Underground. We've had a lot of them come on the show over the last couple of weeks. They just announced another show in 3-4 weeks on UFC Fight Pass. It's weird in a way that I really think that grappling could be kind of where the UFC was 18, 20 years ago, where, 10 years from now, people are like, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a grappler. Like I have grappling shows, and there's indies and regional grappling shows, into maybe it is Submission Underground that really takes over and can pay people enough to be a professional grappler. Are you on that same wavelength? Do you think grappling can really become a boom and a money-making profession for people?
I hope so. That would be cool to see. The thing with grappling is that it can be hard to watch. It's not, it's not exciting like a fist fight. Anybody can watch a fist fight and get into it.
Yeah.
You know who's winning, like, without really knowing the rules, who's winning.
Right.
Grappling show, you're like, is the guy on bottom? He's winning? Why is bottom winning? He looks like he's losing.
Yeah.
What are they doing with their hands? They're just moving their hands a bunch? How come nobody does anything? Like, grappling is so boring to watch. I would be shocked if it caught on like MMA has, but that would be cool. There would probably be a few select elite that can make a living from it. Right.
Well, your show's at Fight Island, UFC 254, Nurmagomedov and Gaethje at the headline. is it for you another fight in the cage, or is that cool? Are those buzzwords for media members? Is that cool to be on Fight Island, to be under Khabib and Gaethje, which you can argue the biggest fight to the end of the year? Is it the rest of the card? Whitaker, Kinnear, Walt Harris is on it. RDA, an absolute monster card. Is that cool to be a part of it?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It says a lot, it's like, it says a lot. The UFC trusts, me and Cynthia to go out there to put on a show, to not, to not go out there and fucking stink up the place on Fight Island. Right? And I really like that. In fact, I've been on 2 of the biggest cards this year. The one in February that was here in Houston with John Jones and Reyes. I was on that. It was a huge honor. Got to go to, Media Week and Media Day and all that. And then, to be on this card, when Mick texted me and said, how about Cynthia, October 24th? The same minute that he texted it, I texted him back. Absolutely. It's such an honor to be on that card. And Americans being flown out there to fight each other is a big deal too. It's not like the international fighters. They put us on that card because they know it's a high level fight. They're going to love it. They know people are going to be watching it. The stakes are high, and it's going to be a fucking awesome show. So sure, I'm stoked.
That's awesome. No, for sure, you nailed it. They want you 2 guys on that card because they want to literally announce, like, hey, Lauren Murphy, 2nd round TKO, Valentina's next. They want to create that next poster, you versus Valentina, one day down the road, and we'll talk about that at a later time. Another thing I saw of you, so every time I do interviews of that nature, I always kind of, look through and make sure I don't miss anything. And I went to YouTube and I looked up Lauren Murphy. There's like a hype video. There's like a 3-minute hype video. It's one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. Like, I saw that you thank someone who made it for you. You know which one I'm talking about?
I think Cynthia Vance made that, didn't she?
Right. Yep.
Yep, she's really awesome, man. She
so
made
good.
Like in 2013, before I was ever in the UFC. Actually, I was kind of thinking about maybe getting back with her and seeing if she can make me another one.
It's so good. And one thing that really hit home for me was, it's like, wow, Lauren Murphy's been in so many different cages, so many different events, and you see how many different backgrounds, tons of people, not that many people. 2010, you started being pro, now 2020 fighting through a global pandemic on Fight Island. Like, how crazy is it? Did you ever think 10 years ago you would be in this spot?
No way. No, that's like what makes it all so awesome is that, not only did I never imagine that I would be here, but it's like, I'm not even really supposed to be here, So that's really what makes it so amazing. Like when I first started fighting, it was like, I just wanted to have fun and do something really challenging. Like I wanted to try something that really scared me. And I never could have dreamed that this would be what it turned into. It's such a beautiful thing to have something that's a passion and a hobby turn into something that's, a profession. It's awesome. It's a really beautiful thing.
It's, not a lot of people. There's so many people that don't love what they do day in, day out, put in all this time, and they're not happy with it. I couldn't imagine, that person. So it is very, very, very refreshing to see someone so happy. Like, you can train all day and make money in it and communicate to people about mixed martial arts, and that's your livelihood,
Yeah, and it wasn't easy to get here, so I don't want it to sound like that, like, oh yeah, we just fucking came to the gym and then look what happened. It's like, no, I really worked my ass off, and I've had to deal with, all the stuff that fighters go through. I've been humiliated. I've lost huge fights on national TV. I have made every mistake you could possibly think of on the way up. I've been broke as shit for years,
Right.
It's like now in the year 2020, we're finally making some money. We have a nice place to live. I'm getting these big fights on these big cards. I'm getting on a good win streak. But yeah, it wasn't always like that, was it? The last 10 years have been a fucking grind to get to where we're at. But it makes it really that much sweeter to know that all that hard work paid off.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was going to use. That word I was going to use too is the grind. Like, where we started just with doing the podcast and having a website to where we're at now just is a grind. And I can't wait to 10 years from now. Like, I love this process. I love the process of it. Well, I see you're getting ready for lunch. I got 10 fun, real quick questions for you. And then
honestly, I would be doing this whether we were talking on the phone or not. It probably focused, honestly, so don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, these are fun questions. Whatever the first thing comes to your head, okay?
Okay.
All right. Who is your hero?
Joe Murphy.
Love it. All-time favorite movie?
Oh, fuck. Man, you're really getting me on that one. Shit. Maybe like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay. There you go. That's a classic.
Yeah.
Your least favorite sparring partner?
My least favorite sparring partner?
Yep.
Eric Lewis, you son of a bitch.
Love it. Beach or mountains?
Beach. All day. Every day.
Your first job?
I worked at A&W, and it was inside a gas station. It was horrendous.
What has 2020 taught you?
That anything can happen. That just because it's the worst year for everybody else, it could be the best year for me. Just stay ready. Anything could happen.
Love it. Your favorite piece of technology?
My phone.
Dead or alive, 2 people to have dinner with?
My dad, for sure, would be the first one. And Jesus Christ would be the second one.
That's a good one. There we go. Last question for you, Lauren Murphy, UFC fight prediction at UFC 254, you versus Cynthia.
TKO. I don't know what round, but I'm going to get a TKO.
I love it. I really do think that, I wouldn't say it just because I've been telling people I got a weird, eerie feeling. Second round, towards the end of the round.
I love that. I would love that. And it would be I think the 10th TKO on my record.
Right.
So
right.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. You know what I mean? It's very, very possible.
No, I do. I think outside of a grappling transition, and she kind of just that 1 second thinks you're okay, and you come through maybe with a short elbow or a knee, something like that. That's my prediction.
I would love that. I really hope so. I would.
There you go. We talked it into the world. So We'll talk to you after the show. And we can't wait. Have a really good camp, stay healthy, and good weight cut. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you afterwards.
Thank you very much. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Thanks for having my lunch with me.
Anytime, Lauren. Thank you.
Have a good one.